we're doing this earlier than usual for a couple of reasons, one of which being that I want to, I guess, get it over with a little bit quicker than usual. So it's all just a bunch of, I'm just going to keep using the word usual throughout this, so be warned. Before we begin, I'm going to see if these noises outside are as audible on the stream as they are to me. And I'll be able to speak in the manner with which I would like after. Well, it's actually the second time I've made the stream that way. Early live show. There was another one with that name in January. Yeah, it's kind of like a carnival over here almost. Long time no see. Well, Winter Fresh, given that I have kept up a, I think, consistent schedule, do 3 streams a week or more on the same couple of days, the reason there was no C was because you wouldn't come to the channel. So it's kind of self-inflicted. Just saying. People do all the time on YouTube. They're like, I haven't seen this person in 3 months. Where'd they go? Oh, they're still putting up videos. I just won't watching other stuff. Have you totally abandoned speaking? Oh, let me make sure this thing is accurate. Okay, good. It's not picking up on here. That's great. That's terrific. It's lovely. Have you totally abandoned speaking on interpersonal intimate relationships? I mean, abandoned. I did a video about that, I think, what, 2, 3 weeks ago? I do have one I wrote out, but I never got around to editing it. I have to go to my editor and find some picture to put on there. So I guess the answer to that would be no. I just don't speak about it as frequently. Usually, if I'll get pissed off at one of the chicks for doing something stupid, that's the genesis of whatever the new video is. Like right now, there's one doing something really ridiculous. And I'm not even trying to do any romantic stuff with them because they already declined on that. It's just, it's kind of like being on what's like a merry-go-round or a hamster wheel. But instead of you doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, you have a person who says the same thing over and over again about how, oh, I'm different and I've changed and I recognize the bad things I did. And then they still do the same stuff over and over again. And it's really weird too, because you'll have them sit here and act remorseful and pretend like they're so disgusted with what they've done. And then you try to give them the chance to do something different and they just keep playing that game. The thankless vacuum, which is romance. I mean, a lot of things feel like thankless vacuums. You know, I actually have been delaying the third video I was going to show where it's like all these job applications and you fill out 20, 30 of them a month and you don't hear back from anybody. And I kept putting off that video just because I didn't get around to editing it. And then something amazing happened yesterday, which I'll go into in the actual video. But for as great as it was, the idea that you would have to apply to like 80 or 90 places just to hear back from one of them that's not flat out saying thanks but no thanks or just ignoring what you are requesting, it's really ridiculous. So, you know, it's all part of that thankless vacuum where you put in all this effort and then you get nothing back. And then you're told to just keep trying because reasons. Like I was actually going to do a video called The Magic Romance Year, where it's going to be about how these older people, and sometimes they're older by a few years, sometimes they're older by a few decades, who have never dealt with trying to talk to chicks in the social media era. And in some cases, if they're a straight broad, having never even, you know, been in this scenario ever. And they always do this thing where they're like, you know, I would not be too negative if I were you because you're very young. So there's going to be this magic year where everything just switches and all the chicks around you start reciprocating, which is comically laughable. And I even said I could get in a relationship tomorrow. And if somebody asked me, was it worth it? I would say, hell no, because you shouldn't have to talk to dozens of broads over some several years period to get with someone, especially just to go on a date. Envoy finally reappeared. He still hasn't seen 37. I'm almost done with 38, and he still hasn't seen 37. Like I said, I pledged about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that if I had all the lines, I could finish both of them before the month was over. And at this rate, I might be able to finish the next one by like Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm keeping my pledge. And I got up at 8 this morning. I was doing a whole page of it earlier. I was like, yeah, we're gonna get through this. It's nice when you have a plan to do something and you're able to do it. That's why a lot of people who don't experience success with their, I guess, relationships fall back on career choices because a lot more of it is in their control. Not having to always rely on if someone wants to do something. Okay, Winifred says women do it to me all the time. They read my messages but don't say anything. I had one offering me to talk on Instagram, but when I asked them their username, they acted like they were confused. Hey, Envoy, remember my policy. I try to tell people not to, I don't try to tell them what to do. I just recommend, like, hey, if this keeps happening, don't be surprised if it continues happening. Given today's climate. Well, see, that's the thing that I try to explain that when people are like, oh, you're so negative and all that trash. It's based off of looking at a pattern and coming to a conclusion that takes into account the pattern you have seen. So I even gave the example of how if for every, let's say, 6 times I approached, one of them went on a date with me, I wouldn't think it was so ridiculously difficult to get with someone or impossible because the ratio wouldn't be as awful. But when you're talking about speaking to 80 or 90 chicks, and then the only one that shows interest in you, you don't even approach, which is the story of the gold digger I discussed a while back. Um, I don't really see where someone would, going off of those experiences, be inclined to believe it's going to get any better, unless they're just buying anything people are saying online. Like, screw what you've experienced. We're going to tell you this magic year is going to come where everything shifts. Got to value yourself. Well, Envoy, maybe he does value himself, but he's had crappy, flaky. I mean, you know the thing. You know the chicks like to be flaky online. Like the one broad that told me, "I can't wait to speak to you by voice for the first time," and then after 3 days of not responding to my last message, goes from that to, "I am not interested in this anymore. Goodbye forever." Let's see. Your experience as a guy is brushed off to the side. It's the female experience that's most important. Yeah. And some of these chicks are so self-aware and that they do the same thing. Like I had one broad apologize over and over again. Oh, I'm so sorry I was flaky and I said this and then they'll do the exact same thing 2 or 3 weeks later. Just goes on and on and on. I just don't see the point of putting up with that. Well, I do understand why people put up with it because they have this like thing in the back of their head where they think if I just impatient enough, she'll want to take it in some further area. Too much truth already being conveyed here. I was worried Megumi wasn't going to show up. She weren't sorry. I don't deal with bad behavior. Me neither. That's why I was just like screw it. Talking to them is like I want to buy a Ferris wheel like on those carnival rides where they go up and down. That's what what is the equivalent of talking to these broads, man. You take one step forward and one step back. My God. Okay, tell her to hit the road. Well, I mean, she's already, they're already somewhere else, so that message has probably already been conveyed. No, I was gonna do a whole video about the. I had someone who actually commented on one of the. I think it was on the jealousy one, and they were like, "Not a single mention of marriage." And I was like, "What the hell?" And it was funny because I almost wanted to give it its own separate video where I just kind of broke it down. But people, that's one of the reasons I don't like if I were to think of the drawbacks of making content, that would be one of the biggest ones where people will have a 20-30 minute video in front of them and they'll just cherry pick a piece of it to respond to or to pretend like is a big deal. So they won't use any critical thinking skills because in the video I criticize the fact that two unmarried poor people had a kid. So if I'm criticizing that, you can infer that I would like those people to be either well off or in some decent financial state and in a union before they reproduce. Like it's not hard to figure out what the hell I'm talking about, but that's why I said that it's like being online. There are these people who purposely misinterpret stuff or just don't try to exercise any kind of, you know, rationale. Like you can infer from certain critiques that something else is wanted on the part of the person making the critiques. Again, that's why I don't respond to any comments from anyone I don't recognize anymore. Because if you can't figure it out in a 20-30 minute video, yeah, no series of sentences I write is going to make it any clearer. Critical thinking skills, lol. The general public too much. Oh, I know. That's why when I did the video. Oh, by the way, Megumi, even though I've never met them, I have a problem with your father and your mother. I don't like them because I don't like you. I know they've done nothing, as far as I can tell, that I would dislike since I don't know anything about them. But I just don't like them because they're related to you. And Envoy is going to agree and say he can understand why. So tell your mother and father I don't like them because they're related to you. That's in reference to a stream I did earlier this week. Your mom's son. I hate you. Nah, go. You can go watch that stream. It was what was the name of that thing? Let me go look. I think it might have actually been my most viewed video this week. Let me see. Here it is. I hate you because of your son. One point like you brought up was having a test to ensure that adults are ready to have kids, but I can only imagine the uproar if it were to be suggested. Oh yeah, that was why I thought it was funny that people will get upset with the government for telling them that they can't have kids because they can't afford it, but they won't get upset over people murdering children that they were not mentally prepared to take care of, let alone financially. Like I said, there's the priorities of people really is just all over the place. The government's trying to tell me I can't reproduce. This person just murdered her son. Oh, that's bad. That's a great point. Murdering children if they wish. And you'll actually have someone who will go, but that won't stop all of the parents from doing it, which is true because you do have cases where people just snap, but you can still infer, like it'll curb it, definitely. And unfortunately, you do have people who will say that this is an attempt to villainize the poor, but it really isn't because you're simply saying they're not financially prepared. They might be mentally prepared. They might actually put the kid above themselves. But if they make a mistake, and have like a one night stand or something, they're going to get screwed. So it really doesn't work out either way. You're trying to villainize the poor. No, I'm not. I'm simply saying that Some of them might recognize that they're not ready in terms of their wealth. People are gonna make all kind of little arguments about it. Let's see what else is here. And Winter just disappeared. He made a little cameo. He was like, "I'm sorry, I haven't seen you in so long. Bye." I wouldn't mind if they could at least suggest a restriction on some adults. So maybe really poor people can have up to two, but not 4 to 5, which happens a lot. But the thing is, and I guess what I'm trying to get you to understand is when you have people who don't like the idea of the government, quote unquote, infringing on their lives, they're not going to settle for any compromise whatsoever on that right. So if you say, all right, look, people who make under 30,000 a year can only have two. They're still going to say, you shouldn't be able to tell me how many I can have, even though China does the exact same thing. So it's not like this is something brand new. But my point is that if people are opposed to an idea at its extreme, like let's say the extreme is if you make under that a year, you can't have one or something like that, right? Or if you don't have a net worth of, I don't know, 40,000, you can't have something, just some general rule that people might say is kind of extreme. No compromise or lowered position would they be okay with. So yeah, you can't win, and when you do the, like the moderate attempt. So I would just go with the full radical extreme one because that's the one I would I would prefer. And if I'm gonna get crap for the moderate one, I might as well get crap for what I actually want, which is to say, hey, if you can't afford it, don't have one. That's not an opinion, that's the law in that scenario. But again, I know how people act when with liberties and whatnot, so it definitely would never become law, unfortunately. It is what it is. I'm not, like I said, I don't allow whatever my ideology is to blind reality for me. Let me see what else. I'm gonna try to put up another documentary this week. I've got the script written now. I'm gonna record my parts, do the editing. It's about the Senate Minority Leader, which it's probably so the first part's about his tenure in the House, and then if I do a second part, it'll be about the majority of his time in the Senate, and if I do a third part, it will be about a period after that where he actually like the period of him being minority leader. So it'll be either two parts or three, probably two, maybe three. I don't know, but I know that it'll at least be two parts. Generally, it's always the kids that end up losing out anyway, which breeds a new generation of losers. Well, that's why I always laugh when people try to pretend as if like you'll get more people who will defend some broad than you will a little girl or a little boy because it's assumed that if they're a little kid, they don't know what they're talking about. They can have no legitimate critiques of the things their parents do to them, and it's just a really lazy mentality. That's why I came up with the phrase SBM, sainthood by motherhood, because I've seen a lot of chicks who have kids and basically get away with doing whatever they want to them by virtue of you can't act to me. So it literally is just so insane. Like seriously, if they consider what they get so upset about such trivial things, but life wrecking situations get somewhat swept under the rug. Yeah, when I was talking about that kid that Broadhead, I was saying that I've seen people get more upset with me for talking about how dumb the mother is than actually getting upset over the fact that the parent had it, knowing that they could not afford it. So people don't care. Well, my opinion on child support is if the child was not born within a marriage, the man should be able to walk away. The only time am I, if I got my way, that a mother could get the dad for child support is if they were married, because that was an agreed upon scenario by both adults, not some one night stand where the broad, was too stupid to get the guy to wear a condom and was like, "Oh my God, we're going to be together forever." And he says, "No." Like I said, they've really villainized men in society in different ways. What's funny about the whole child support thing is some people don't want the government telling them if they can have kids, but they damn sure can tell the man in most cases to provide money for the child. It's so weird. Well, that's why it's hypocritical, because the same group of people who protest about the government making decisions for them seem to have no qualms with the father being forced to give up his paycheck for a kid that in a lot of cases he didn't want. And I really don't feel sympathy for the chick because, again, she's in control. Like, people pretend that broads just get knocked up and then have the kid the next day. There's a 9-month interval. So she has most of the power in whether that kid comes to life or not. Just like with me, I gave the example of talking to chicks who said they would never want to have kids, and it's like it's because of them I don't have one. No matter how much you compromise, no matter how much you try to do any kind of commitment based thing. And then somebody wants to go in here talking about uh, get what do you call it? Get paid, and they'll come, man. And then as they're saying that, I know a guy who was poor. That guy, like, you know what I'm saying, man. It's just they say one thing, and then you actually live life, and you see the complete opposite. You see men who don't own anything other than the pants they're wearing be able to reproduce in these poor neighborhoods. They act like men with wealth equivalent to Bill Gates are showing up in impoverished communities and screwing chicks. Nothing's further from the truth. I still want to make that cartoon of a guy in a Lamborghini driving up to some house with the windows smashed and the mud all over the front, and some chick with the massive stomach comes out. Yeah. All right, sorry about that. The butt point of view. Let me read these comments. Notice how some women get mad when they are called females. I mean, if you call me a male, I wouldn't mind, especially in this day and age when you got people. Oh, don't start with that, Envoy. You remember that stream where I was nice to a certain transgender person, and then they got mad because I was doing a three-way call, and the other person insulted them, and they hurled some racist comment toward that person. No, Megumi, I'll give you a link because I don't think you were around for that. 1 second. Also, if you can hear that music, I apologize. Like I said, I would love nothing more than to live alone. It would be perfect. It would be like something out of a fairy tale. Where is it? But I was speaking to someone that came to my door. They were trying to go back and forth. A family member called. He'll be back. I mean, that is correct. I was back. I didn't think that was that long either. Hey, there was someone that came in the comment section of that stream and was like, "You are disrespectful toward transgender people," and I'm like, I only insulted this person because they insulted me. I don't bother them. It's like you're more upset with me for insulting them back than you are at the what is it, 9 or 10 people that murder transgender people a year. Like I said, people have their priorities sort of, but it's much easier to get upset with someone giving an opinion on a stream than it is to get upset with people actually, murdering others. I got rid of it Envoy. That thing is long gone. That comment was garbage, and it got treated like garbage. Told you I don't bother people. That's my favorite trait. If I had to pick one character trait I like the most, is the ability to walk away and not look back. I had this one guy I used to like the channel of. I made a joke. He called me out of my name. I unsubbed from his channel and never came back on there. I didn't write any mean comment or anything. Just that was it. Let's see what else is here. That honestly does affect chicks. Them being ignored drives them insane, ironically. Oh, I know the one that blew me off and wrote the, end the whole world message, took notice of the fact that I hadn't reached out in a week and was like, hey, what happened? I was like, you ignored me. That's why I said I can't take anything they say seriously because the same one that had said that forgot about the period where I unfriended them because they didn't respond to a message I sent them for a week. And they later admitted when we started speaking again that they did that on purpose to get me to go away. So then they act shocked when, after I'm made privy to the fact that they did that, I no longer send them anything. It's like I just vanish without a word. Like, well, hell, when I tried to speak to you, you ignored me. So yeah, they always come back eventually, just like Shredder from the Ninja Turtles. Turtles counting it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turtles. That's from the 2003 version, which was my favorite one. Always says, "True Megumi, indifference is gold." Oh, Megumi, tell Pop Gumi and Mom Gumi to go jump off a bridge or something. They didn't do anything to me, but because they're related to you and I don't like you, I have to hate them. I know nothing about them, but because they're your parents, I dislike them. Told you people just bask in ignorance. They don't even care. And I told you the documentary stuff is so frustrating because the whole point of doing those, if there's some topic I think is important, that I can't trust people to go and research themselves. Like I could easily take all the stuff I write for them and just send it to people, but I know they're not going to read it. So if you give them the opportunity to hear you say it and they ignore that, and you know they're going to ignore reading it themselves, your hands are tied. Yeah, that's. Oh my god! Wow, really? That same person is online right now. The same one who ignored my message and was like, I can't believe you haven't sent me a message in several days. Wow. I told you they love doing that. I wonder why he doesn't contact me. Because you don't answer. Talking about if I do this again, you can be done with me. No, if you do it again, I make the decision to be done with you. Talking about they ignored my message for a week to get me to go away. And then they admitted that they had acted like a certain word that starts with a C, that is not crap. Another curse word that starts with a C. I swear it's you know I guess the best way to put it is people are very lucky that I think rhetoric is mostly useless. Like when you go up to someone, you try to talk to them, they usually don't change their opinion, no matter how much evidence you show. Because I would curse out a lot of these different broads, just like tear the whole thing down as you're through with them. I mean, like think of this. All you have to do is write a message in response to what I say. That's it. That's all. Like all text communications are is someone writing something. It could be a sentence. It could be a paragraph. It could be one word. And this person sat here. I counted. It was 5 days and wouldn't write anything back to drive me away. Literally less than 2 weeks after saying, "As your friend, I would advise you to try to speak to other." Yeah. What friend have you ever heard of that purposely ignored someone for almost a week? What friend? What buddy? What companion? And then after, and then they're. This is why I said they're self-aware because they know the stuff they do to men is screwed up. This person admitted. Let me go into this message. No, no, no. We're not playing this game today. There's not going to be any interpretations. You're going to hear exactly what they wrote. I asked, "Did you miss me?" They said, "I did." And earlier, when I thought you weren't going to talk to me anymore, I was very sad. This was it's about 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago. And then less than 2 weeks later, what are they doing? Not responding to anything I say. And this is after having voice conversations where this person admits they enjoyed it. So, I can only come to one conclusion. They didn't not respond to what I was saying because, oh, he's going to say something mean. They didn't respond because they're a 100% USDA coward. That's the only word we're going to use to describe them from now on. Black Brits over there giving out my favorite thing online, the the US, the unsolicited advice, the UA. Justin wrote me a message and I don't want to respond. They act like I'm gonna reach through the screen and grab them. And like I said, what is with that toxy turvy thing? 2 weeks ago, I was so sad when it looked like you weren't going to speak to me. A week later, just deaf mute, no words. Like I said, just a bunch of clowns, man. Somebody needs to make a show where every time there's a chick on screen that's like under the age of maybe 40 or 50, and even some of the ones older than that are stupid. You just hear like clown, like the honking noise. Because this is dumb. And it's like cartoonish because the person says they're in the wrong for what they did and then still does it anyway. And then you know what they do? They go, "Oh, I can't believe he would say that about me." It's like all you have to do is just not do the thing that is obnoxious, which is going out of your way to be unreceptive to any attempt at conversation on my part. But that's why I said the chick stuff is like a merry-go-round where you're like a doctor. You diagnose the problem. You say, "Hey, stop doing this and it'll work." And they just keep doing it. Megumi says, it's baffling just how contradicting they are to themselves. And then Megumi, I guess he's agreeing with Black Brit. By the way, Black Brit, I found your cousin's channel. I subscribed. She seems like a nice woman. I was pretty shocked to discover your relation. Green Brit, the one that talks about leaves and grass and youth and health and the goodness in all people and whatnot. She's so uplifting. I'm surprised she's not a certified motivational speaker. No, it's the joke is that it's your name with a different color. Man, I wonder where Ruben is? Let me send him a message. The people on these sites are so weird. My favorite thing, Megumi, and maybe you've seen this as well. When on certain websites when someone's online, it'll tell you like the thing will be green, and then they ignore your message. Oh, that's my favorite type of sustained period of not saying anything. Because it's like they can't do the thing of I haven't been on my account in 2 weeks. No, we know you were on there recently, unless that account has a mind of its own and flashes green just for the hell of it. Yeah, we found out really quickly what game you were playing. Oh, he probably didn't get the notification. I always said that I scared him. I was really surprised. I said, "Damn, they're still doing this. We're still playing this stupid game." They did the same thing in December, and now they're doing it in April. Except instead of it, being like a joke because April 1st, this is real. Yeah, I don't even get irritated by that anymore. I don't either. I just find it funny because most of the websites you like the only time somebody knows you've been online is when you post something. But they actually go on sites where they have the online green thing or whatever, and they're still ignoring you. I just sigh and shake my head. That's what I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now. Go to their account. Man, I don't know what's wrong with these bras. Not at all, Christy. Not one bit. Jesus Christ, something is wrong with a lot of these chicks. You know what? Someone should make like a mental illness folder and put like flakiness and contradictory behavior, and then put like a gender ratio. Like it's going to be 95% woman. Because you know somebody's going to go, men do that too. As if I said that it was every man, that every man was all there and all the chicks are all one way, even though I've never said that. I mean, this is crazy. Okay, Ruben says even if Biden drops out, the Democrats will still find some excuse to block Bernie from becoming the candidate. Oh, I don't dispute that because when I was hearing all this stupid stuff about Kumo, they basically were trying to pretend that we didn't have a primary. Oh, Kumo is going to be the Democratic nominee. So it was a waste of time to vote for anybody that wasn't Biden. The person who has the second highest total is not going to win. Okay, all right. Even if, okay, if they did that, the organization will be shut down. And an envoy announces the great Ruben is here. Chrissy says, yep, it's bad though. Oh, it's very bad. Now, Ruben, I got the first part of the Schumer video written out. I got to record it tonight, and then I'll try to edit it over the course of the week. I got a whole bunch of stuff I record, and I don't even put up like whatever. And with the relationship stuff, I probably have to start writing it out because I'm trying to make it to where it's harder to cherry pick words, where they just like take a little piece and go, "Oh, see, he said that. I thought you said you weren't going to approach anymore." It's like I know they come to me, and I still tell them to go to hell because they play the same stupid games. They don't care because they know they can get away with their irrational behavior. Oh yeah, well that's my point. That I had someone who was getting mad because I was talking about how stupid the chick with the kid is, and I said, "So wait a second, if there's no consequence for doing the wrong thing, then what incentive is there to do the right thing?" Like I even had one relative who said to me when I was little, "If you stick your hand in fire and you get burned, you know not to do that anymore." So if these people don't get any pushback, we're not talking about beating someone up, but just someone who says, "Look, I'm not dealing with you anymore because of what you did was unforgivable. It was stupid. It ruined the child's life and yours." How can you ever expect them to change or to try to do anything different? Because if you think that, I'll put it that way. I think I made my point. They don't care, okay, and not have any accountability for their actions whatsoever. No, because none of the people around them want to hold them accountable. They just want to hold their hand. Oh, it's okay. She's young. She made a mistake. She was old enough to let an unprotected penis go inside of her, and spray some whipped cream down in the layers. But she's young. She doesn't know any better. It's like what the hell, man? That was the first sign I live in the Twilight Zone. Spray man juice. I mean, any white substance you can think of, whipped cream, tartar sauce, ranch. What do you think of the alleged claims that Kim Jong Un is dying will be replaced by his woman relative? You mean his sister? I mean, if he is, I don't think she's going to be any better. That's why when everyone's like, "Ooh, I hope he's deceased," it's like, what? Why? And what remote way is it going to be any better? I'd like to know. Someone please explain that to me. Please inform me of in what way this is going to become some magical scenario where North Korea is going to have no dictatorship, and we're actually going to be able to visit over there. Like it's not happening. Resistance women are already invoking misogyny because of the sister. Yeah, I forgot. Hey, we're going to have a hot dictator now. That's what all everybody's gonna say. They're gonna ignore. 'Cause you know they do. They don't pay attention to anything the person actually does. They just look at how they look and go, ooh, all those damn buzzwords. Oh, they love that. Hey, I gotta tell you, this is probably in like the top five most annoying streams I've ever done. You got this loud music being played in one room, clowns outside laughing. I just stupid chick on social media. Well, I guess there's a lot of those. Jesus Christ. Like why do people even make headphones if they're gonna do stuff like that? I swear this is definitely gonna be remembered by me for just all the little crap that's going on. People have nothing to do. Hey, let's sit together and listen to some song that's been out for 30 years. We've probably heard 50 times by now. And then somebody will say, you're trying to ruin people's fun. I was like, no, just turn it down. But they don't do that because they don't care. There are. There's a group of them right out, like maybe 30 yards from my window going. So I made a pretty accurate statement when I said that, Christy. I know you also like to cut out my words and pick and choose. I'm going to be Cancer Day. They're just annoying. Throwing a pandemic party. Well, that's why I said a lot of people are not taking this as seriously as they like to portray themselves as because sure they'll put on a mask and they'll buy a bunch of food a week, but they're still letting all of their friends show up to their house. They're still trying to touch each other, and it's all part of that little selfish, narcissistic thing. Oh yeah, I'm sure people have the virus, but it couldn't be any of my friends. So that's the reason this is going on, and I'm probably going to get demonetized because of the copyright stuff that's being played. So there goes my 2 cents or 3 cents, a half a penny. Mm, pandemic party, a double P. Tough only cause you're funny. Whatever. Yes, sir. And of course, due to the stay-at-home orders, majority of people are staying at home and will be around more often. Yeah, that's what's made recording stuff so difficult because it's like every time I whip out a camera, I want to do a stream, there's someone doing something around me that makes it harder. So it just sucks all around. The celebrities are going crazy. Oh, they did a video that got a bunch of downvotes because people hate them. Just a bunch of random celebrities. They were getting mocked. Kim Jong Un. Oh, okay. As long as Kim Jong Un is all right. So John Un died. We don't know who that is, but at least Jung Un is all right. Here. So many interruptions. Let's see what else is here. I can't wait to do my Envoy documentary where I just screenshot all of his messages he's ever written in my chat. Like in October 2018, AJ Envoy opined and just have the stuff he was writing. Let's see here. Oh yeah, for the next documentary, I actually made an intro It's got some. I think that's the Raw theme song on it, and I'm gonna use it because even if it copyright strikes the video, or it not copyright strikes, but it makes where I can't monetize it because of the nature of what's discussed in those. They get demonetized anyway, so it's kind of like it's just a formality basically. Of me just saying, all right, screw it. I just concede that I can't make anything off of those. So I say YouTube will find so many ways to just spit in the face of hard work. They don't even care. They're like, "Oh, you wrote a script and edited and all that." Oh well. I wonder if Trump is gonna pour out some liquor to this homie Kim. I need no. He doesn't drink. Yeah, because his brother died. Fred Jr. No way you're going to get a moment's peace during this time. Oh, of course. I can't lie. You folks are indeed legendary. I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, I remember Envoy asked me one time, "Are you going to do a documentary on Vietnam or some other conflict?" And I said no because wars that go on year after year, they usually get some studio to slap together some footage. But a lot of these different Congress members, whether they're senators, members of the House, hell, even most of the presidents, they don't really get anything. So that's why the incentive is to do people versus uh, big social events, which are going to get covered by much more, budgeted production studios. So I hope I answered his question. I know he's very upset by that. That's why he stopped commenting. And maybe if you were a chick, YT may be a bit more forgiving and supportive toward your channel. Uh, yeah, I already told you that they have broads they try to put up. Ooh, it's loud out there. YouTube is a dead platform for free speech. Hopefully, a new venue opens up. YouTube, etc., are not it. Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, again, with YouTube at this point, I just put up stuff because I like to, and if it gets views, that's cool. If it doesn't, hey, I tried. Nah, I mean, it happens, so we're not all gonna make it. It is what it is. But you can't say I didn't put effort into it because I definitely did. That's why I said hard work doesn't matter. I told you when I went to school and I couldn't, I guess, further like actually get a degree because I couldn't afford it. That's when I knew it didn't matter how much work you did. Because I remember when I was little, if you don't study, you won't be able to go to college and graduate. And then all I did was study, and then I couldn't afford it, and I was screwed. I just think that's so ironic that the financial stuff ended up being the thing that killed me being able to get a degree. It is what it is. That's why I said it's a scam because yeah, you have to work hard, then you work hard, and then because you don't have uh, tens of thousands of dollars laying around, they get to bend you over and tell you, "Ah, nice try." Told you, I'm so sick of a lot of this stuff. I'm sick of the chicks. I'm sick of the schools, everything. Just tired of it. Fatigue. Let's see. I know what Christy is saying. You sure did too. That's the problem with the streams. You'll know what people are referring to when they don't specify it. Oh, she might be telling Megumi that it was his bad for that annoying autocorrect. Now, don't beat up on Megumi like that. That's cyberbullying. Oh, definitely. But like I said, Megumi, they're trying to hide behind the skirt of this virus. So remember how in the two videos I did, you could see the dates where I applied. Now they were both before. It was like March 18th, 19th, basically showing that the all these applications were before the virus, and in 53 of those, you never heard back from most of those places. So it sucks. Uh, where did somebody wrote some? Let me see where it is. Oh, Slum Digger. He said basically missed the whole stream. I mean, I didn't plan on ending it immediately. I'd say we still have another 20 or 30 minutes to spare. All things considered. You can't get a position because of the virus. And then you go to the last 3 months of applying and before the virus, and it was the same result. How come you didn't go the student loan racket route? I did get loans and grants. Even with those, I still had to look. That's why I said people like to think I just saw a problem and gave up. They wanted 30,000. I had enough loans and grants to lower it to 12,000. So, and I'm just not going to be in debt for a piece of paper. Like, that's stupid to me. I have a lot of empathy for people who took that route because they are basically shackled for doing the right thing according to society. But I'm not like, that's my point. I don't do things like get in debt because I know no one's going to save me from that. So I just didn't think the long term ramifications of not having a degree were worse than having debt. Ruben wrote shoot bit. People love taking these websites' names and just messing with them. Some people call YouTube ScrewTube, ScammerTube. I already addressed this topic, heathen. It's a settled issue. You know, I had a person who is, I guess, technically elderly. Yeah. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they expressed surprise by my age, and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm so surprised you know so much about politics. Are you a political science major?" And I explained to them that that was actually the study that I had, or the major I had when I was in school. And I told them pretty much what my story was, and their response was to ask me, because I had said I'm done, you know, like in terms of I have no interest in ever going back. And they wrote me a litany of questions. They were like, "What are your chances for a scholarship? What were your SAT scores? What about your grades?" And I was like, "Sir, if I just explain to you that I got into this school, this public university, you can infer that my grades were good enough to get into that place because they were." So it was just one of those things where, you know, people have to like rationalize stuff to themselves to such a level where they can't just accept something on its face value. Shotgunning nerds like that, you might be in debt. Yeah. I'm not too worried. I brush my teeth twice a day. Have these once a week, so nice try. Oh, you know, it'd be funny if you're like, if you have cavities, that will ruin your chances of getting with the woman. Like no man ever has had cavities. We're talking to some broad. We even mentioned this during one of the streams from last week where they tried to say the way you smell or something. Like, who's stupid enough to walk around without taking a shower? And you know, it's just dumb. Red tube and not prawn. If I was a chick, I would get an OnlyFans slash Twitch and coast through life. You haven't seen that one video of that broad with the glasses where she was what do you call it, writing, where she was upset because people weren't donating as much as she thought they should. I think it was before the virus broke out. No, no, hey, Ethan, I wasn't offended by his comment because me and him were actually taught. We discussed a lot of things relating to politics, like going back some decades and whatnot. So I think, like, how do I explain this? From the way his comment was written, I didn't think it had anything to do with ethnicity because I had mentioned to him, a lot of people I'm around don't know about this and whatnot. I'm just saying. Mm-mm, that was not the nature of that comment. Like I said, I think a lot of people know too very little about the political stuff as much as they should. It's really disturbing. But I'm glad to not be among those people. There was someone who asked me, "Are you going to do a documentary on some sports players?" Like, the only sport I have just any remote interest in covering is maybe some wrestlers, and that's about it. Let me see. Oh, Christy was trying to call me a stupid socialist. I'm gonna have to ban her. So she's out of here. I just banned her. Her comments won't appear anymore. She hurt my feelings. I had a list, Envoy, and in rapid succession, it was Cena, Triple H, um, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, Lesnar, New Jack, Kurt Angle, Steve Austin. I want to do at least 10 of them. Oh, me too, Envoy. No, the first time I ever saw my mother cry was when he died when I was in second grade. I don't know how people can get so excited about a person passing a ball around. That's why I said I don't find sports interesting. This is crazy, man. Yeah, his death was crazy. And it's, but uh he had one of the most interesting. I mean, like the fact that he got released, referring to Guerrero, from WWE, and then in a span of what, 3 years, he wins the world championship at, what was that, WrestleMania 20, and then afterward, just dies from the strain on his body. But it's a really incredible story. Just I can't think of anyone else that got thrown out and then comes back and succeeds in such a short amount of time. Thoughts on ECW and New Jack? He hasn't really done anything recently. Yeah, I have, Heathen. No, Envoy. I actually almost put Benoit's whatever his theme song in episode 38, but I changed my mind because I didn't want to have a another like music video type fight scene where it's like 2 or 3 minutes and some fighters, the song is playing over it. Remember, guys don't have feelings, need to man up, be assertive and alpha. And the hell with that. Yeah, I saw the clip about the clips of him speaking, or some of them anyway. But yeah, I will do at least 10 of those. Like out of the wrestlers, at least 10 of them. Because I got a list of about 20 or 30 people on there. If I did one on Benoit, I would purposely, what's a good word for it? Because the thing with the Dark Side of the Ring documentary is that, again, Envoy, it's something I'm considering. I want to do the political ones, so get some of those out of the way. The thing about the Dark Side of the Ring documentary is that because it has his son and these different people that knew him in there, it's got an emotional weight that I can't really rival. So the purpose of what I would try to do is to actually, because in the first part of the it's a two-parter. They go from WrestleMania to Guerrero's death to Benoit's death, and like you don't see any of the stuff in between. It's really weird. So I'm just saying that mine would be more what's a good word for it? Detailed about that period of that year and a half after Guerrero died, where he just declines mentally, and I guess some of the different events that occurred in that at that point. A lot of those wrestlers are in pain, heathen. Thanks all those chair shots and CT and the rest. What is Envoy? Oh, there's Envoy. He said Lesnar should be interesting. It is Winterfresh, but people can still have real injuries. You don't know how excited I am for this. Like I said, the political stuff comes first, and then I'll get to the rest of it later on. And it doesn't mean I'm going to do like 10 documentaries on politicians before I do one on a wrestler. It just means that I try to take things piece by piece. Like right now, I've got the script for the Schumer one almost finished, so I could probably wrap up some more of it tonight. So if I get through his entire story, then I'll go and pick somebody else. Like I'll probably do one more politician, and then I'll do him after that. So imagine someone suplexing you, compromise with a Jesse Ventura documentary. There are just so many important people that there's like all this information available about them, and no one's going to put all of it together and organize it or anything, is the sad part. But the sad thing is, I know that Envoy won't even watch it when it gets made. He didn't even see the one I made on Shift. You remember, Envoy, my rule that if I think the person is very, very notable, I ban them. Like I'll never make one on Martin Luther King or Kennedy or AOC or any like, because those are all people that get discussed and talked about too much, and I don't want to be part of the group that does the same thing with them. So I'll think about Hogan, but he might make it to my banned list as well. I will watch out. LOL. Scouts honor. Yeah. Well, again, I think you will like the new intro for the documentaries because it's the old Raw theme song, and I got the clips to correspond with it too. Is what I like. I'm gonna just see if I can finish the because I've been mostly just dealing with episode 38 because it was that one and 37 that kind of were in development hell for a long time because of the voice actor situation. And now it looks like 39 and 40 might be in the same position. So I'm gonna just give it a few more days and I'll be able to wrap it up. I was actually talking to one of the who was it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I was saying to someone that if I was so Benoit's dad's name is Michael. If I lost my son and my grandson, I would be so evil. Like every video I did, I would just get on here with a scowl and start cursing people out everywhere. Shouldn't laugh because that what happened to him. Just I'd say him and what's the other son's name? David. When I wants to wrestle, they had the worst treatment out of everybody. Like to the results they got from that. Yeah, Heathen. What I want to do with Kemp and with most of the incumbent politicians, I like to take a period that is concluded or finished, and then make that one video by itself. So if I did one on Kemp, he would have to finish at least one term as governor. Let me see if he what else did he do? Uh, or I'd have to find more information about when he was Secretary of State. I could because the one I want to do for forgot my own governor's name for Newsom will be about his life up until he became governor, or possibly up until he became lieutenant governor, depending on how much stuff I find. At least we can hear it online. Oh, look, Sky finally reappeared. He vanished for so long. Yeah, Heathen. I don't know what they're doing with on Vice because they put up the Benoit one, and then they just kind of vanished after. Like people have been putting up the other episodes. I'm like, I've never seen a company do that before. They put out the premiere, and all the other episodes just shh, you gotta pay for it. Governor Nuisance. Sky Clank is here but doesn't talk, shaking my head. I like how the new documentary intro actually is composed entirely of people I'm gonna eventually do a documentary on. Like it's like foreshadowing. Like Jesse Jackson's in there, Sanders is in there. I'm definitely gonna do one on him. That thing's probably gonna be like 5 or 6 parts. Jesus, the idiots I'm in a group with, the idiots, the buffoons, the Looney Tunes. Oh yeah, heathen. A lot of people are gonna die because of his foolishness. Speaking of governors, okay, it's out of the current ones, it's Newsom, it's Kumo, and then who else? Kemp. Though I'm thinking Kemp is on like a consideration list. New York has a whole bunch of interesting. I think that state might actually have the most politicians that I'm trying to do one of these on because I wrote a script for Giuliani, which was supposed to be 3 parts as well. And then at that time I stopped production of it because I couldn't get the damn clips off of that stupid website. I shouldn't say stupid website because I do like C-SPAN, but they have the worst downloading software ever. I got a screen recorder, so I can get it off of there now. So I got the last laugh. Do you think Biden has a chance at beating Trump? If he wins, it'll be due to just what's a good word for it? It'll be anti-Trump votes. It won't be because someone's actually excited to vote for Biden. No, Sky, I didn't qualify for it because we collectively make an amount that's higher than the amount it gives out. Michigan governor is noteworthy too. Oh, Whitmer. We gotta slow down, Ruben. I got so many people. I had a whole list of senators I was gonna do. I got Rand, I got Cruz, um, Gillibrand, Harris, Booker, Lizard Warren, aka Pocahontas. So yeah, I'm not gonna overexert myself. I'm gonna pick because when I do these lists, I always pick out the most essential ones. So when I was talking about the 10 wrestlers I have on the list, I'm gonna pick out five and I'm gonna pick out three and I'm gonna commit to do those three, and then we're gonna see what happens after that. Oh, I know she might Sky, and it'll be a really dumb decision because Trump is gonna spend what 5 or 6 months going Pocahontas, 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 Pocahontas. I generally like to eat during your streams. I'm gonna wait maybe half an hour. Some Nigerian food. Thank you for specifying what cuisine you'll be having today. I can, Scott. I don't want to see that trash. I told you I got so sick of Trump's voice. I just started reading articles about what he says. Like I'm so tired of the rallies. Like, oh, Trump said this during his rally. Here's a clip of it. Yeah, that it's a good thing that people like Trump don't govern us or something. And then he said you'd be in jail. Okay, Ruben says Trump already warned being the spoiler candidate against Bernie. Yeah, he warned us. And the envoy agrees with me. I don't want to see that at all. Will we get another stimulus check? Apparently not. They blow up everything. Well, that's why I try to not talk about him on here that much. Like, if you notice, I haven't had his name in the title of a video in a long time. Like in months, I think. I don't know what it is about New York. Oh, I was making this point to someone a few days ago. I think New York is actually cursed. Like, people try to say, you have to believe in something or faith or whatever. I actually think God hates New York now because in less than 20 years they had the worst terrorist attack ever. And now, and I shouldn't even smile when I say it, but they had the worst terrorist attack ever. Now they're the epicenter of this virus. And it's not even like, oh, we're just barely edging out New Jersey. It's like 200,000 people infected to the 99,000 in New Jersey. Well, that was why I got so annoyed when this broad was like, I don't know why you're not excited for the stimulus check. It's like it doesn't do anything for me. My rent takes that check, spits it out, and declares it a satisfying appetizer. It means nothing. No, this person admitted to me that their rent is a couple $100s. So it's like you're really going to compare that to live, and they're not in my state, by the way, which are New York. So that was my point that they don't actually listen to what I say. They just say whatever they feel like. Hey, Sky, have you played Dragon Ball Fighters where after Goku Black beats Vegeta, he's like, "You were a satisfying appetizer." That's what my rent says to that stimulus check. Well, a lot of people get roommates. You can get good deals sometimes, but I told you that when I went looking for an apartment building, and like on Craigslist, it's just a bunch of horny dudes trying to make some chick their live-in sex doll. Like, oh, you can pay 200 a month and we'll share a room. I was like, these bastards. They're gonna let a pair of titties jip them out of some coins. Like, hey, I guess if they're stupid enough to do that, I just let it happen to them. Craps list still exists. Yeah, Ruben. Last time I was on there was in December when the motel saga was going on. Only way I room with a chick is if she's my wife. If she's not, she can kick rocks. Well, that's my point, heathen. It's nothing. And she was acting like it was Jesus Christ or the Savior from above or something. I guess those are the same two things, but you get my point. It's just calm your tits. It's not that impressive. Not remotely. I live in a 3-bedroom house for 900 in Atlanta, best deal ever, by myself. 12,000, 1,200. Excuse me. It's fine for my area. Luckily, I didn't need it. I'm so happy Sky is all right. I wanna thank the Lord for keeping Sky okay. All these deals. Hmm. Let's see what else was written here. God, this is the worst. Like the actual stream itself has been all right. I got two interruptions, loud music on this side, dingbats on the other. At least when this is over, I get to call my brother. So that's what they're doing out there. I wonder when the stay-at-home order will be lifted. I was saying June, but I don't even know anymore. Yeah, god awful. Like I said, I could never not be religious because I certainly believe in hell. Live through it every day. Usually, the South is the most accommodating. No, the one good thing about the South is the rent isn't as bad as over here, but the weather, like over here, they've actually tried to charge people for weather. Is what's so crazy. You can forget it in places like NY and Cali. I know, Envoy. We get it. I'll have to find a track to do some running. Screeching like creatures. Yeah, and what I think is so crazy is I can I can't even count on two hands the number of times I've laughed out loud to where you could hear it from across somewhere. Like you'll just have someone sitting by themselves and they go, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? What is Dave Chappelle in the room with you? Like, damn. No, I said I certainly believe in religion because I go through hell every day. So hell has been confirmed to exist. When you talk to 90 chicks and get a bunch of different rejections over and over, and have people calling you gay, in spite of the fact that you approach all those broads, that's hell. When you apply for uh, dozens of jobs and don't hear back from any of them except for thanks but no thanks, and then have people telling you you're a bum that doesn't want to seek out employment, that's hell. It's just, it's all bad, man. Oh yeah, heathen. There are valid criticisms that can be made of any state in any area. Okay, one thing I would give Cali is during the summer the women look amazing, but screw them broads anyway. Well, that's what I was saying. It's all just eye candy because you go and try to talk to them, and you get you end up like a certain character, a certain man on the screen. You're like, well, I tried. No, heathen. Yeah, finding a job will be irritating now for me. Well, deluxe depends on where in the South you are in terms of intellectually stagnant. Heathen's asking all kind of questions. I feel like this is an interview. He's gonna have me sit in some uh, one of those. Y'all remember those chairs that fold back? Like, so, Mister, sir, when was the last time you spoke to a woman? It's like, I guess maybe a week ago. Oh, and how? Did you find her physically attractive? Like, yes, yes. So when's the next video coming out? Damn, let me record it first. Jesus Christ. Oh, I can see that Christy vanished. She went back to the Darkstalker stream they were doing, playing the same game for 10 years. Well, if everything goes well, I'll be done with school and this I still can get. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it still sucks. But you're just being negative. He's got to interrogate you in a dark room with one dim light on it. Yeah, like I'm at the FBI office. Darkstalkers doesn't even exist anymore except for that character. I've never seen something like that where they take the whole series just gets completely ignored except for a few of its characters. I might have to become a stripper if I can't find a proper job. At least my degree is paid for by daddy government, so I won't have anything to pay. Oh, how fortunate are you? I live in Atlanta. It doesn't really get more progressive than that outside of maybe Austin. Let's see what else is here. So out of the governors, that's about four of them that I think are interesting. I don't know. I just because with the California ones, uh, I probably would be interested in going back to at least Pat Brown, and then the ones in between, I'd have to dig for stuff on, which I don't really have a problem with doing. It's just kind of a meh sort of thing. If I did one on Jerry, for example, who was the previous governor to Newsom, that thing has to be at least 2 parts long because he was governor before. And then you have the 20-year gap in between. Is there any qualifications to run for Congress? Maybe I'll try to apply for my district. You need to have the signatures to go on the ballot. You have to have, I mean, you can look it up. It depends what office you're seeking. If it's the Senate, you have to be, was it 30? The House, 25. Live in the district. You got to go look it up. It's too vague a thing for you to ask me. Like I'm the aficionado of qualifications for office running. Let's see. Grab these for you. Appointments, redistricting. Let me steal this from this website that has caused me such great discontent in the last few weeks. Oh wow, it's way, the what I was gonna send you is way too big. Let me see if I can make it a little bit smaller. Okay, be at least 25 years old, have been a resident of the U.S. for the last 7 years, and at the time of the election, be an inhabitant of the state they represent. There you go. There's the qualifications. I actually got it wrong. You don't have to be in the. No, I remember because Jank, when he ran last year, not last year. Wow, it feels that long ago already. When he ran this year, he lived in a different district from the one he was trying to represent. Like I said, my congressperson is just garbage, man. I would love nothing more than to get rid of him. I will mention you in my speech if I happen to run and win. You're gonna mention me in the concession speech. That stupid socialist from Cali. I shouldn't have listened to him. This was a big waste of time. That's gonna be my biggest claim to fame. That stupid socialist told me to run, and I ran, and I got creamed. A double agent, man. That's how I know you're not taking it seriously. I don't even like the Democrats, but I would run as one just because my views are more in line with them on social issues. I already said the biggest thing that stops me is, or at least before, was the fundraising because you have to raise a lot to even be remotely competitive. But then you also have to factor in now with this virus, how the hell is anybody supposed to campaign? So those are all the big issues. Not with the virus. Like you're talking about grassroots campaigning, but you can't do it when everybody is. Yeah, I guess. But my point is, that it's made it a lot harder. Because let's say you want to do a rally, what you're gonna do it online? I'm gonna have to do a stream for the rally. Sometimes I feel like running for governor of my state just so I can change a few laws, which I think are unreasonable. But the mask saves all. We can go to Walmart still. To hell with Walmart. Just don't forget where you came from. I actually did see somebody's mom say that to them and then point at their own vagina, and I was like, really? That's why I say when people are like, "Oh, chicks are so innocent and they don't do horrible things," I'm like, yeah, they're not nasty at all. No, I almost want to do a compilation because my thing is I don't like to directly call out, especially broads on this website, but I can actually show clips if I wanted to of chicks saying some pretty nasty stuff. Like the one broad whose son sent some girl some nasty message, and he was like, "Uh, what did she say? My sons are pimps." Yeah. And I got this one screenshot of Christy where she was saying that if she wanted to eat a watermelon, she could just grab the two on her chest. People don't care; they just say whatever. Yeah, they're really nasty, Sky. I didn't hear her say it; she wrote it. It's like really. They're like a lily. It looks pretty but poisonous. Don't forget us little people when you reach the top. I already said before that I think I probably would lose at least the first time, and then the second time, maybe. It just depends on how well I did the first time. Because the thing is, like every time you think about running, you always imagine I'm going to go to campuses. I'm going to knock on every door. But then you remember, oh yeah, young people don't vote, so they're a waste of time. Just like with South Carolina, Sanders shouldn't even gone to that state. They don't like progressives. Some of the most hurtful things. My dorm manager even told me that the prettiest woman in our dorms had disgusting rooms. Yeah, they're slobs. I know a whole bunch of chicks that you come to their place, it looks you would think a man lives there. Yeah, that's why I don't understand why Sanders, because I already said I don't like a lot of these little teeny bopper singers or whatever. Like I don't like their music. I don't like the public persona they have. Just I'm not interested in them in any capacity. But I thought maybe if she was aggressively campaigning for him, you could get some of her brainless fans. But I remember Beyonce campaigned for Hillary and she still got walloped. So, it's like these celebrity endorsements really don't mean as much as you think they do. I can literally name multiple celebrity endorsements where it went nowhere. Like when Beyonce endorsed O'Rourke for the Texas Senate seat, still lost. Celebrity endorsements are so useless. Endorsements in general don't really matter. Like the only endorsement that really mattered this election cycle was Clyburn and SC. He is Sky. Ed Sheeran endorsed Corbyn during the last month of the UK elections. And look what it got him. I mean, you can go look at all the endorsements Sanders had during the campaign. You take all of them and throw them in the trash. I'm going to get demonetized all throughout this thing. They're just going to be snapping that yellow piss stain all over this. Your video is not advertiser friendly or it has copyright material. It's like, well, not by choice. Imagine I just get up and I'm like, hey, ho, turn it off. And then you just hear me beating someone. And you're like, Justin, stop, stop, don't hurt her. I'm like, you better donate to Super Chat. That's the only way to get the torture to end. Okay, Lewis was the backup Clyburn. They had him waiting in the wings. Speaking of Lewis, there's a lot of civil rights figures that I'd love to do one on. Like I mention Abernathy all the time, but him, A. Philip Randolph, Bayard Rustin. That's the last one was the organizer of the March on Washington. There's a lot of them. They're just so overlooked for like the same 3 or 4 people. It really it's pathetic. But for them, I probably have to dig up some old newspapers because they don't usually have like clips I can play or books readily available. Well, nobody said she wasn't hot, Sky, and it turns into that Digimo commercial where the guy beats his wife over pizza. What a sick thing. Oh, I'm so done. But yeah, if you guys have anything left to say, let me know. Because if not, I'm gonna eat the rest of this candy. And then I'll get back to doing this documentary, which I am pretty excited to make. It's just gonna be a little bit of a hassle getting the clips, thanks to C-SPAN's uncooperative self. I did like the response I got for the, like mentioning wanting to do some wrestling ones. I definitely will do Cena because he's like the thing is, even if he's the kind of like the guy, I still think you're not going to get someone that just goes through his career as extensively as I would. That was the same reason that the Giuliani one was like, yeah, they did a documentary on him when he was a couple years out of being mayor, but like his 2008 presidential campaign, being Trump's loyalist, that stuff is not going to get covered, or if it does, it's going to get skimmed over in some stupid book 30 or 40 years from now. So I just look at it as a way to have a chronological ordering of what these people do. Can't wait to drop Obama part one, and then everybody's like, "When's part two coming? When's part two?" When I free up some damn space in the computer. Oh, thanks, Ruben. I appreciate it. I haven't seen one of those in a while. It's all right. I get it. People are, getting fired left and right, so I'm not too surprised. I'm no dollar host, so I don't get mad over that. But again, I thank you for the contribution. Abomination, it's a great song. Yeah, you mentioned that song before. Communist rapper, low key. He's lucky his name is spelled that way, or else Marvel was gonna sue him. All right, so if anyone has anything left to say, speak now or hold your peace until. Well, tomorrow's another Dragon Ball stream, so I guess you could mention it there. Speak now and forever. Hold your peace for like 20 hours or something. I don't know. I couldn't think of a witty way to state that. I was gonna mention that. Yeah, tomorrow's the Prince of all losses. Yeah, I decided I'm just gonna do the Vegeta one instead of waiting to see if he beats Moro because I'm not gonna wait for that. I already know what the answer is gonna be. No, Sky, I don't own any. Well, I do have a one console, but it's not something I have plugged in because of all the little stupid stuff that happened with the musical furniture. So I thank those who attended. I appreciate it. Um, and like I said, I'm working on all this stuff because I find a lot of these people to be very important. And even if they get covered, it still isn't in the way I think is right. So that's that. Anyways, I appreciate it. See you later.